Why women act hot and cold. Hello, everyone. One of the most common sources of confusion that I hear from men is the unpredictable behavior of women, often described as acting a hot and cold. For instance, have you ever started dating a woman and felt like everything was going wonderfully? You might have been texting each other almost daily and meeting up several times a week, creating a joyful atmosphere where both of you felt excited about the potential of your relationship. You might have even envisioned a future together. However, suddenly, she begins to text less frequently or cancels plans without suggesting new ones. Naturally, you might wonder if you did something wrong or if you said something that upset her. When you ask her about it, she often responds that she's just busy or tired, which can leave you feeling frustrated and confused. So, what's going on? There are essentially two main reasons why women may exhibit this hot and cold behavior. One relates to you, and the other pertains to her. If you're new to my channel, I'm Anna Jurgensen, and welcome to Adjust the Tip Tuesday. In this video, I'll help you understand what you might be doing incorrectly or what might be affecting her behavior. So, make sure to stay with me until the end. First, let's discuss a fundamental truth that you might not be aware of. Nearly everything women do is driven by a need to feel safe, both emotionally and physically. In fact, the need for safety is a primary concern for all of us, but women often process this need differently than men do. Whether due to biological factors or societal conditioning, women tend to view the world through a lens that is more attuned to potential dangers. I won't delve into the lengthy reasons behind this perspective here, as I've covered it in previous videos, but it's important to understand that women are often vigilant about their safety. Even though many women today can support themselves financially and don't have to worry about homelessness, this is just one of many fears they may face. You might be wondering how these fears relate to the hot and cold behavior of women. Just bear with me, I'll clarify this shortly. So, what are some of the fears that women experience? For example, they might worry about not finding a partner and ending up as the proverbially crazy cat lady in their later years. Other fears could include the fear of rejection from their community, the consequences of failure, the pressures that come with success, concerns about being a bad mother or not becoming a mother at all, societal judgment, and harsh self-criticism, similar to the fears that men experience. Now, let's explore why women might act hot and cold and how these fears play a role in that behavior. It might be easier to illustrate this with some examples. Let's start with the idea of the crazy cat lady. If a woman perceives that she has low relationship market value, whether or not that perception is accurate, she may constantly worry that you will realize this and decide to leave her. As a result, she might pull back emotionally to protect herself from becoming too attached or to provoke you into pursuing her more actively. This behavior can be either a subconscious reaction or a more deliberate form of manipulation, depending on the individual. If you're curious about some of the manipulation tactics she might employ, I recommend checking out my video on 6 manipulation tactics exposed, which I'll link to at the end of this video or in the description below. Remember, understanding these dynamics can help you navigate relationships more effectively. It's important to recognize that emotional withdrawal or becoming distant isn't exclusive to men. Women can also exhibit similar behavior, especially when driven by deep-seated insecurities. For instance, a woman might suddenly become cold or unresponsive if she feels she's pursuing someone who is perceived as out of her league, whether that perception is accurate or not. This self-sabotaging behavior can happen subconsciously, even if she's been kind and attentive to you. The key takeaway here is that she might not even realize she's doing this. If you've ever found yourself unintentionally undermining your own chances in a relationship, you'll benefit greatly from understanding how to break this cycle. My Wake Up to Love program is designed to help individuals recognize these patterns, build self-worth, and attract the right partner who genuinely values them. I've included a link below for your convenience. Another common scenario involves a woman distancing herself due to external pressures from her social circle. Imagine things are progressing well in your relationship, but then she starts hesitating or pulling away. This might happen if she fears judgment from her family, friends, or community. Humans have historically relied on tribal connections for survival, and while modern society has evolved, the need for social acceptance and validation remains deeply rooted. If she's closely connected to her family or friends, or if your values clash in ways that feel unsettling to her, she might be taking a step back to reassess whether these differences are significant. During this time, she could be seeking guidance from her trusted network to navigate her feelings. You might think, but I'm not close to her family or friends, and you're absolutely right, this is a common concern. However, if her support system has been a crucial part of her life, their opinions will carry weight. This isn't inherently unhealthy. We all benefit from having people we can confide in to help us make tough decisions. What makes this situation tricky is the fear of rejection, both from her loved ones and from you, if their concerns about your compatibility prove true. If the relationship ends under these circumstances, she might feel isolated, as if she's lost her support system. Other anxieties, such as fears of failure, success, motherhood, or societal judgment, often fall into the broader category of survival instincts. These concerns revolve around the primal need to avoid ostracization or exclusion from a community. However, there are moments when a woman's fluctuating behavior isn't tied to survival instincts at all. If the earlier scenarios don't apply and your relationship seems fundamentally compatible, her emotional distance might instead stem from unmet standards or expectations. Everyone has personal benchmarks, some high, some low, and these can vary widely between individuals. Let's revisit the earlier example. You're dating someone, things seem promising, but then she starts acting inconsistently without explanation. As discussed, there are typically two underlying reasons for this shift. The first involves insecurities or fears tied to social validation, while the second relates to whether she feels your relationship aligns with her personal standards. These standards might include things like shared values, life goals, or emotional compatibility. Even if you're a great match, if she perceives gaps in these areas, she might struggle to reconcile them, leading to emotional withdrawal. The concept of someone being emotionally distant can be linked to two different aspects, one related to you and the other to her. Let's consider a scenario where you might say something that unintentionally triggers a deep-seated fear within her. For instance, during a casual movie night, you might make a comment like, I think most guys would cheat if they thought they could get away with it. This statement could resonate with her in a negative way, causing alarm bells to ring in her mind. Instead of a positive reaction, she might interpret this as a sign that you could potentially cheat on her, especially since your belief implies that infidelity is a common trait among men. Even if she grew up in a loving and stable environment, her expectations regarding relationships are rooted in the belief that monogamy is not only achievable but also essential. She desires a partner who shares this belief. Therefore, your comment about infidelity might make her feel insecure about your commitment. In response, she may become emotionally distant as a way to reassess whether your values align with hers and to determine if you are a suitable long-term partner. This distance allows her to gain clarity without the influence of strong emotions, helping her to reflect on whether she truly misses you. Often, she may not even realize that this is the reason for her withdrawal. She simply feels the need for some personal space. It's important to note that even if she understands why she is pulling away, she might hesitate to communicate this to you. She may fear that discussing her feelings could lead to unnecessary tension or even a breakup, which she wants to avoid. Now, let's explore the possibility that her emotional fluctuations are more about her own internal struggles. Imagine that everything seems to be going well between you two, and you have been treating her with kindness and respect. There are no apparent red flags, and you might have even expressed your commitment by saying something like, I truly believe in monogamy, and I will treat you like the queen you are for as long as we are together. You are fully committed, and your intentions are clear. However, she suddenly becomes distant. What could be the reason for this change? As mentioned earlier, a woman might withdraw if she feels triggered by past experiences that lead her to self-sabotage. If she did not have a healthy upbringing, her understanding of love may be skewed. Perhaps her parents had a tumultuous relationship, filled with conflict or a lack of affection, or maybe they separated when she was young. Such experiences can create a distorted reference point for what a loving relationship should look like. If her past includes instances of infidelity, such as her father cheating on her mother, she may outwardly express a desire for a monogamous relationship. However, internally, she might struggle to believe that such a relationship is genuinely attainable. This disconnect between her expressed desires and her internal expectations can lead to confusion and emotional withdrawal. It's crucial to recognize that these patterns are often rooted in her past, and understanding this can help you navigate the complexities of her feelings. People often find themselves drawn to what is familiar, as familiarity tends to bring comfort. You might relate to this if you grew up in an environment that was not emotionally nurturing. It's likely that there are certain aspects of your life where you might be undermining your own happiness, often without even realizing it. Many of us have experienced this at some point. For instance, if you were treating a woman with kindness and respect, but she seems to respond with distance, it could be because this level of care feels foreign to her. She may fear that your affection is insincere, worrying that you will eventually discover some flaw about her that she believes you have yet to uncover. Alternatively, she might be unconsciously repeating a pattern from her childhood, such as a father who left, divorced, or cheated, leading her to withdraw in an attempt to regain a sense of balance. In reality, she may simply feel uneasy in a healthy relationship. Now, for those of you who tend to take on the role of the fixer or the rescuer, it's important to recognize that emotionally wounded individuals may or may not overcome their past issues, just as you may still be dealing with your own. However, with patience, consistency, and effort, you could potentially assist her in navigating her challenges. That said, there is no assurance that she will remain committed to you once she begins to heal. She might evolve into someone with different values, aspirations, standards, and expectations regarding her partner, which may or may not include you in her future. Therefore, all the time and energy you invest could end up being in vain. I'm not suggesting that you should abandon ship at the first sign of trouble, but if you notice numerous red flags, be sure to check out my video on red flags. You should definitely take a moment to reflect on why you might be holding on to a situation that is proving to be quite difficult. We all carry some level of emotional damage, and our past traumas can significantly impact our ability to maintain healthy relationships. If you are waiting to meet the perfect partner, yet you do not consider yourself to be that ideal partner, then attracting someone who is emotionally healthy will be a challenge. Typically, we are drawn to those who are emotionally on par with us, which means we often need to address some of our baggage within the context of a relationship. Awareness is the first step toward change. If you recognize that you have your own issues to work through, it's important to acknowledge that you wouldn't be attracted to her if there weren't some unresolved matters on your end as well. Remember, we are all a bit flawed. While it's wise not to flee at the first hint of trouble, if you encounter multiple significant issues, you owe it to yourself to avoid subjecting yourself to what could be considered self-inflicted harm by remaining in that situation. When it comes to dealing with a woman who exhibits hot and cold behavior, the approach remains consistent, regardless of the underlying reasons. Insecurities should not hinder anyone from enjoying a fulfilling relationship. Suppose you meet a woman who possesses many of the qualities you desire in a long-term partner, but she also has some of the issues I previously mentioned. In that case, it's crucial to learn how to navigate the relationship in a way that does not trigger her insecurities, just as you would want her to be mindful of your own insecurities. It's a mutual effort that requires understanding and cooperation from both parties. I'm here to provide you with valuable insights that can enhance your experience in pursuing a meaningful relationship. Fortunately, there are effective strategies you can implement to ensure you don't miss out on the wonderful connection you have with the woman you're interested in. By following a few straightforward steps, you can not only make her feel more comfortable around you, but also ignite a strong attraction. In fact, she may find herself eager to impress you, reaching out through texts and suggesting meetups. If you find yourself in a situation where she seems to be distancing herself, I highly recommend watching my video titled What to Do When She Pulls Away: Long-Term Relationship versus Short-Term Relationship. This video addresses specific behaviors that may need adjustment on your part, as well as potential red flags regarding her feelings that you should be aware of. Understanding these aspects will help you determine your next steps effectively. So, take a moment to watch that video now, and equip yourself with the knowledge to navigate this situation. Thank you for being here, and I wish you all the best.